Welcome to Jesan Sorrells Presents. This is episode number 37. So clearly we're in the car. We're on our way to Walmart. I'm road tripping. Mark is here. Say hi, Mark.
Howdy.
And Steven is here. Say hi, Steven. Steven's behind me.
Hi. Hello.
We are, clearly exhibiting appropriate safety in the back seat of a car. It's almost like we're in the back of like Mark's Uber. By the way, he is available for Ubering. So if you wanna, look him up. I suggest you get connected with him online. So a couple of things that are jumping out to me this week. I got a couple of interesting emails from folks. They wanted to talk about resistance to change and, what do you do when there's adversity? I'm going to release a podcast episode about all this. You should be listening to the Jesan Sorrells audio experience if you're not. But I have a couple of ideas about what you do when you have adversity. For instance, today was a day where things didn't work out necessarily as planned. And adversity, overcoming adversity and leadership through adversity is literally about overcoming something that Stephen Pressfield and Seth Godin and a bunch of other folks in brain science has talked about called the resistance. The resistance exists when you hide from saying the hard thing at work. The resistance exists when, something isn't working out the way that you want it to and you throw a temper tantrum. The resistance is at work when some guy cuts you off in traffic and flips you the bird. The resistance is at work when you hear that your job is going to be cut and all of a sudden you're afraid. The resistance is at work when a bill shows up and says, hey, we're going to cut off XYZ or ABC, or we're going to take GEF from you, and then your kids, your partner, your property will all change and shift and move. The resistance is subtle. The resistance stops us from doing work that we know is right. The resistance stops us from taking risks. The resistance stops us from doing linchpin work, the work that we need to do in this kind of world. Look, I'm driving down the Vestal. Well, I'm not driving. I'm riding down the Vestal Parkway. Mark's driving down the Vestal Parkway. I'm riding down the Vestal Parkway here, and everywhere, all around, are examples of businesses that were built by people who had to overcome resistance. We talk a lot about the lucky thing, right? And I've even done a video about that. And I've talked about having your ducks in a row. But the key thing that stops us from doing important work, the key thing that stops us from engaging in entrepreneurship, the key thing that stops us from even starting a project is resistance. So today, if it didn't work out for us and, we couldn't have gotten the piece that we wanted to get, instead of me shouting road trip and everybody get in the car, instead, what we would have done is we would have been like, well, darn it, I guess that's not going to work out for today. I'm going to move on to the next thing down on the list. That's resistance. That's the thing that we need to change. We need to change resistance. We need to shift away from that when adversity arises. And the way that we shift away from that when adversity arises, the way that we move away from that is we dance with the resistance, because we can't get rid of it. We can't fight it. It's always going to be there. Fight, flight, fear, freeze, all these responses, they're all going to be there. And we have to dance with them. We have to recognize them the second that they're happening. That's step number one. Step number two, we have to short circuit their power by talking to them, telling them that everything is going to be okay. This is normal. I heard today a great phrase. You may want to take this with you. If it makes you feel like you're going to throw up a little bit in your mouth when you say it, it's probably the right thing to say. That's a perfect example of how to overcome the resistance, and that's not even mine. Step one, dance with it and recognize it. Step two, do the hard thing. And step three, have the courage to dance with other people's resistance. Have the empathy to look at other people and say, hey, I know you're resistant. I know you're scared. And I empathize with you. And it matters that you're scared. But we're going forward. So get on my back and I'll take you with me. Speaking of getting on my back and taking you with me, I've taken you with me all the way to Walmart. Look at that. It's like blue and white and the whole thing. And we're rolling through the parking lot, and now we're here. So, that's just my thoughts for today. Episode 37. If you have a thought about resistance, you should, I'm going to say it again. This is the doodly-doo counter. I'm going to say you should comment in the doodly-doo. I have a couple of comments coming in. I have some very growing, realm of folks who are interested in what I'm saying. So please comment. Tell me, how do you battle the resistance? How do you fight it when, things aren't going your way? How do you manage stress? How do you manage change? How do you shift in a world of multiple options? All right. That's it. I think we're here. I got to unbuckle because these back seat, these are really freaking good straps. All right, now I get can't even get out of the car. All right. Here it is. Let's go.